Number 7 is asking you to evaluate the improper integral. And it gives you the integral from 1 to infinity of x to the 4th dx over x to the 10th plus 1. So when I see this, it looks like there's really no way to solve it. There's no way to do like a u substitution right away, because if I try to plug in u equals x to the 10th plus 1, I would need at least an x to the 9th on top to account for that. But what I do see right here is I do see that x to the 10th could be written in a way that I could get an x to the 4th when I derive it. And the way I would have to write that is I would have to write that as x to the 4th dx over x to the 5th quantity squared plus 1. So again, you want to be on the lookout for simplifications and stuff that you can modify so that you can make substitutions work. So if I go ahead and make a u substitution for this, u equals x to the 5 du equals 5x to the 4 dx. I can go ahead and sub in for everything. The only thing I'm missing up here is I'm missing a 5. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go ahead and divide by 5. So now I can go ahead and sub in directly for that. So I end up getting the integral of du, and I'm going to write the 1/5 out here, and I end up getting u squared plus 1. So now I just need to figure out what this integral actually is. Well, if I think back to one of the very first things I learned in this class, I learned that du over x squared plus 1 is equal to arctangent of x. So if I have du over u squared plus 1, this should just be equal to 1/5 arctangent of u. And if I go ahead and I sub back in for my x value, I end up with 1/5 arctangent of x to the 5th. Now I need to evaluate this from 1 to infinity. So remember, I can't just plug in infinity. I need to take the limit as this function approaches infinity. So when I go ahead and do that, I'm going to write it up here. I have 1/5 limit as t approaches infinity of arctangent of t minus arctangent of 1. So I just need to figure out what these values are going to equal. So when I take the limit as arctangent approaches infinity, if I remember the graph looks a little bit like this. So it's coming up, it intersects at 0, and it goes outward. And I'm looking for what this asymptote would be, because this will give me my limit as it approaches infinity. Well, this asymptote, if I remember correctly, is pi over 2. So remember, if it approaches negative infinity, it goes to negative pi over 2. Approaching infinity, it goes to pi over 2. So I have a 1/5. I know that this is going to be equal to pi over 2. Arctangent of 1, at arctangent of 1, I know that tangent of 1 is equal to pi over 4, so arctangent of 1 should be equal to pi over 4. Okay? So now I can go ahead, I can simplify this down, so this would be equal to 2 pi over 4 minus pi over 4, so this is equal to 1/5 times pi over 4. 4 times 5 is 20, so my final answer is pi over 20. And the answer I get from the answer key comes out to E for number 7.
The Teaching Center, UF's Learning Resource Center.